So in this video I just thought I'll show you a simple technique and fun way of creating caricatures basically of photos. It's quite a straightforward thing using the Liquify tool, and of course with Photoshop there's lots of ways of doing the exact same thing and you can be more detailed, etc, etc. But anyway, just to start with, I have an image here that I want to work on. I think it actually works better if you choose a shot where somebody's putting a bit of a funny face, so I thought this one was quite a funny expression. Now basically the main problem to start with is that this shot's a bit underexposed for what I like, so I'm just going to fiddle with that first. So I've got the raw file, I've opened it up in the raw editor, so I'm going to just up the exposure to say there. Then his face is too bright basically, so I'm just going to bring down some of the whites, the highlights and things, and get that looking a little bit better. Then I might boost the vibrance and the saturation to say somewhere like that, and you can see it's also brought up the blues and what have you. Not too worried about this sort of edge vignette here and stuff, because we're just having a bit of a play around basically. And then I might check the white balance, so this is as it was shot, and I'll just step through them and see what color options it gives me. I did take it with a flash, so there we go. I think I'll just go with that one. So I'm just going to open the image, just like that. Oh, look on beforehand, totally different. Right, there we go. So now what I will do, I will just zoom in a little bit by pressing Control and the plus button, signal, icon, whatever, plus at the same time. You know what I mean. So go to Filter and then go to Liquify. And that opens up another window, like so. Now over here in the corner you have the different options for how you will affect the image. But first of all, over on this side you have the sliders. So the pressure is basically, I mean it's defaulted to 50 here, but you can put the pressure up to say 100 and that will basically cause the effect to happen a lot quicker. And the same thing with the density. Now you can see the size of the brush, it's massive. That one. See, huge. So you don't want it that big. So say about 600 is good enough for now. Now over here we have these ones which I kind of basically do all my stuff with. In fact it's actually mostly these. So you got an obvious one here, the bloat tool, and then the pucker tool. So the bloat tool, as you can imagine, bloats everything, so it makes everything stretch bigger, and this one does the opposite, it makes everything sort of contract. And I'll just show you how. So I would just hover over the area I want to affect, say his eye, and basically you're keeping your finger on it. And the longer you keep your finger on it, the more extreme and longer the effect goes on. Now obviously that's a bit of a silly way of doing it, so I'll just press Ctrl Z to undo that. And I will just maybe, you could just sort of bring down the density and the pressure so it doesn't happen quite so fast. Sorry, the rate. Let's try that one. I'll press it again. See, it happens a lot more subtle. So I'm not actually going to touch the eyes on this one. What I want to do is stretch his nose. So if you go up here, you have this finger, and I click on that. It's the forward warp tool they call it, I think. And then I would just stretch the nose out like so. Look, that looks quite funny. Then I would try and subtly move that bit by there, and I would reduce the size of the brush like so. Now if you think, oh, I don't like the effect it's caused here on the lips, you have the reconstruct tool. So that basically undoes the effect, but I only want to affect that area. So I will carefully paint over it there. Maybe a bit on the nose here is a little bit, ooh, hang on. Oh, just need a fiddle. Right, I will try this again. So just watch, see what I can do. Stretch his nose out a bit. I don't like what he's done to his eye, so I'll correct the eye back there. I might want to use the bloat tool on his whole lower section of his face here, like so. Maybe on his ear. Now it's messed up the nose again, hasn't it? So sometimes it's kind of like a trial and error. Oops, wrong one. A trial and error thing to get this looking right. But you can see just by playing around with these different settings what it can do. Straighten that out a bit. Bloat that out. Clickety click. Now this isn't a particularly good example of what I've done here, but you get the picture. I imagine. And this is how you do it, basically. I will say do that. Straighten out the cheek there a bit. There's a bit too straight edge there. Pop that back out again. Maybe his teeth. Bring the mouth down a bit. Like that. Okay, now that looks a little bit, I know it looks a bit silly, it's not the best job, but basically play with these sliders here, the buttons, and these sliders over here until you're happy with what you want to do. You've also got the other things here, the face aware Liquify tool features, so you might want to fiddle with those sliders as well to see how that comes out. And then when you're done, hit OK, it'll then open up the thing there. So one last thing I like to do is just to give it a look, I will press Control-Shift-A, and that opens up this dialog window, which is similar to the raw editor again. And I will just fiddle with the clarity like this. You can see it gives it this funny look, exaggerates things a bit, and then I will, on my curves, just bring that to say there, which mutes the blacks and the darker areas. Maybe bring the clarity down a little. And again, the best thing I find is with these sliders is just to fiddle with them, slide them left and right, and see what they do to the max. No, it's terrible. So I'll just leave that as it is. No. Kind of works, but I think the color is pretty cool. Going with the color option. Again, maybe I will just add a bit more of a vignette. Like so. Change around us, maybe like that. And yeah, there we go. That's our caricature thing. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this little video, and if you did, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Happy days.